going to be talking to Jonas Stoltzfus here in just a moment for the rest of the hour. I will then continue with open phones in the third and fourth hour. We'll also be live at prisonplanet.tv. And I'm also going to get into a whole host of news stories. Neocon Bolton says Gaza conflict may result in U.S. attack on Iran. So we'll be going over that report. But I wanted to get Jonas on. He's with the Pennsylvania Independent Consumers and Farmers Association because he knows and has worked on the case, covering it, with Mark Nolt, the Mennonite. For those that don't know, that's basically another sect of the Amish. It's a little less strict, who gave a neighbor some milk, and the police had come in and, really pushed him undercover to sell him milk that wasn't pasteurized, that wasn't boiled and cooked till it's not milk anymore, till it's more like a cheese product. And, they're SWAT teaming people that sell eggs out of their houses now. They're trying to shut down watermelon stands everywhere. It's all about slaves. You don't sell or buy anything without being in our grid. The animal ID, the premises ID, multi-$1,000 fines on small farms and ranches for no reason. Of course, the big agri is all exempt from it. They wrote the law. But it's not even a law. It's a guideline, but they still arrest you. Just like there's no law to take vaccines, but they'll still CPS people's children. And the judges will even they'll even lie to the jury and say it's a law and send you to jail. I mean, this is the type of just overt criminality going on everywhere. And Pennsylvania, this continues to pop up. Ohio, but it's bad in Michigan, Texas, all over. Indiana's really bad, where they are going after rural communities. And so I wanted to get Jonas on the show with us today. Sure, tell us a little bit about the organization and then specifically break down what happened with the evil milk trafficker, what's going on with the evil egg traffickers, just how bad all this is really getting.
Well, Alex, the Pennsylvania Independent Consumers and Farmers Association was formed after the first demonstration that a group of us put together down at the Mark Nault farm. Mark Nault was threatened with jail because he turned his permit back into the state. He had a permit at one time, and the permit permits only the sale of milk and aged cheese. But his customers wanted kefir, they wanted to buy cream, they wanted to buy butter. So he started making it and selling it. In good conscience, he said, I cannot have this permit here, which permits me only to sell milk and cheese, and then also sell the other products. So he gave it back to the state and said, I don't need your permit. I'm doing just fine, thank you. The state, of course, thought otherwise. And they went to the local JP and issued a warrant for his to raid the place. And the first time they came in and stole about $25,000 worth of stuff. Wonderful cheese, kefir, equipment, etc. This didn't deter Mark. He kept right on working, kept making his good stuff. People kept supporting him. And shortly after that first raid, we had a demonstration at his farm, a protest demonstration. But about 3-4 months later, they raided him again. About $25,000 again that time. And then not very long after a Freedom and Liberty seminar that the PICFA organization put on, there's an undercover cop used my name and came into Mark Nault's farm and said, hey, I just moved in the area, and I know Jonas and Judy, that's my wife, real well, and they suggest this might be a place to get some raw milk. The parents weren't there, that he was dealing with the children. And, of course, they weren't maybe as astute as Mark would have been. They sold this undercover cop a gallon of milk.
And how dare it not be GMO hormone filled with blood, pus, and feces?
Exactly.
I mean, for those that don't know about dairy operations, I've only worked a little bit in one. The pasteurization process allows letting the cow poop get in there, the blood, the pus. When you're selling real milk, you can't do that.
Absolutely.
And people will get sick if you don't. And I've seen the statistics up until the 50s when they basically banned it. For decades, they had pasteurized running right up against unpasteurized. Unpasteurized is safer than the pasteurized, and it's filled with all the enzymes, the living nutrients, the antibodies. It really is good for you. We don't have milk in America anymore. We have a boiled milk product filled with feces. Please continue.
Anyway, so this state cop took the milk into the labs, and they proved, of course, it was raw milk. They issued another warrant, and they came and raided Mark and his family again. Now, Mark has 10 children, and they put a lot of stuff together in storage for the children, but the cops didn't differentiate between Mark's personal stuff and the stuff he had there for sale to his friends and neighbors. They took it all, so Mark had to start over. So now here we have a case where a farmer has lost over $65,000 worth of stuff, and lots of lost time trying to figure out how to work this all out.
And meanwhile, we have illegal aliens running rocket attacks, 8,000 dead, 2,000 on the Texas border, police being killed everywhere. But don't worry, we have undercover cops everywhere stopping people selling milk and eggs. Got to do it.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I could list you on and on and on, Alex, incident after incident across the United States where we have SWAT teams coming in, killing wild boars in a wild boar reserve, stealing all of a woman's special milking sheep in Vermont, murdering them all, no warning, just absolutely no provocation, no reason.
There is a hatred of the American people and independence. The government is completely rogue and scum-filled.
It's awful. It's awful. Now,
okay, continue with the scum. Continue with the scum's reign of terror.
Well, you have I mentioned just in passing the one in Virginia where they came into the guy's place with half a dozen SUVs. Trailers behind them, four-wheelers. They put the guy in his house. He couldn't call anywhere out. While these sharpshooters went through the farm and shot as many hogs as they could find. I'm told someone went to the local butcher shop. I don't know how that.
They just wanted to go hunting. I mean, it's just a gang. It's just like pirates. It's just like pirates of old.
It's pirates of old. So then. That's the one incident. Then the other incident up in Vermont is where they came into this woman who had this beautiful flock of milking sheep. She had imported, did all the right.
Those were Al Qaeda operatives. Those sheep.
Yeah, right. They were Al Qaeda operatives, straight from Bin Laden, I'm sure. But these sheep were all murdered. It was just unconscionable, Alex.
Well, I mean, what's wrong with killing somebody's sheep? That's good. That's America. That's freedom. Tell me. Well, hold on. Tell me more about that story.
Well, that story, the woman wrote a book about it. Right now, my memory doesn't come out and give you all the...
I want to get her on, but, I mean, this reign of terror, we've got to document it. Continue.
Well, then you have... You need to get that woman on at some point.
Well, why did they slaughter the sheep? They just said it was a loving thing to do? Or?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
they're just setting the precedent that they're king, yeah.
Yeah, right. Then they took them off the farm to a separate place and slaughtered them all. Then you have the case I think you had last week of the Stars in Ohio, where a SWAT team came in and held the family incommunicado for 8 hours. You heard that? I think.
Yeah, that was for selling eggs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the list goes on in Ohio, or rather, at Trent Hendricks' place in Pennsylvania, Telford. One of his customers got sick from Campylobacteria. It was not from Trent Hendricks' place, but they shut him down for a week. And after he went back up, he lost over probably $100,000 so far. Then you have the Barbara and Steve Smith case in Meadowsweet, New York, where the dairy dropped his permit and we're going to form a corporation. And they were raided, $1,000 worth of product stolen. The Legal Defense Fund has spent over $40,000 defending them. You have Jonas Stoltzfus in the Live Oak, Florida, again raided by Department of Agriculture on July 7th, 05, stealing the freezers and shut down the farm for 5-6 months. I mean, it goes on and on. Then, of course, we're back to Mark. Then the Mark McAfee place in Organic Pastures in Fresno, California.
When making important financial decisions, you should always know the facts. That's why Midas Resources is willing to pay you to read the facts. Midas Resources, a team of hand-picked financial specialists with decades of financial experience who are ready to provide you with state-of-the-art, up-to-date financial services. Midas Resources offers a host of services and stands behind their products. In fact, if you call and order their free Midas report, Midas Resources will pay you. This detailed report will provide you with financial history on the safest and most profitable areas to invest in. If you read the report, Midas Resources will send you a free Walking Liberty Silver $50. So what are you waiting for? Get the facts and call Midas Resources toll free at 888-292-2709. That's 888-292-2709. And remember, if you read the Midas report, you'll receive a free Walking Liberty Silver $50.